Hello everyone and welcome to Cancer Rising or Ascendant in Depth plus the Moon, your ruler in all houses. So your rising sign is much more than just your personality. The rising sign is your gateway into this world. It influences every area of your life and shows a blueprint for this incarnation. In this video, I will discuss this in relation to your home life, career, money, wealth, family, and relationships. In addition, if you know where your moon is placed, please check the position of the moon in your chart as your ruler. It's important. In this video also, I will touch on why the ruling planet is so important karmically. If you are new to my channel, sub below and let's get started. So, Cancer is the cardinal water sign, the second cardinal sign after Aries. So just like Aries, there is that need for action, that need to be doing something constructive in the world. But different to Aries, this is a water sign. It's about absolutely utilizing tenderness, sensitivity, and devotion in helping and caring for and nurturing everything and everybody on our planet. It's an all-encompassing sign of giving. But the problem is that sometimes it can be difficult to get that movement working for you because deep inside you are very sensitive and very vulnerable. You have this outer shell, just like a crab, which protects that deep vulnerability. And sometimes it can almost stagnate you, as though you just can't make the next step. You just have to watch for these moments in your life where you just seem to sit still, just like the crab. Have you seen a crab? They'll sit there still for ages until they feel really safe, and then they'll move on. And that's how you can be. And so your life often goes through phases of being very quiet and still, and then hugely active, just like the ocean storming, you know? So that's what it's all about, cardinal water. It's about giving of a depth of emotion to make things better for the world. But you are very much attached to sustenance itself and to nurture. Therefore, you are very much a family person, very much concerned with your own family, with your past. And sometimes you're so attached to your past that you can't let go. So this attachment to your past and the past in general for Cancer can be positive and negative. On the positive side, you may just have an interest in history in general. You're very interested in things which have a history to them. You like to surround yourself by knickknacks, if you like, and things which remind you of your past. You're really into mementos of times and places and things like that. But here's the most important thing. You have to avoid dwelling on the past, because sometimes, because you are so emotionally sensitive, don't forget, Cancer is the ocean, and the ocean is very deep. So your emotions are so deep that sometimes you almost drown in them, and you can't tend to pick yourself up, and your mind may tend sometimes to become depressed. So you have to watch for that and try to keep yourself moving always forward onto some new project and some new way to keep yourself active in the world. Another very important aspect is mother influence. Now, the moon is the mother. And when you have Cancer, either rising sign or sun or moon also, it gives a really karmic factor of the mother's influence. Now, you could say, well, everybody's mother is really, yeah, it is important for everybody. But for you, there's a particular karma there. That early upbringing has a very strong influence on everything that you do. So you may have lacked nurturing, you may have lacked a mother figure, or there was a mother figure. Either way, however that panned out, it has a huge, huge influence on you as a lifelong factor. However, you need to see how strong your moon is. If you have an increasing moon, a brighter moon going from the new to the full moon in your chart, that's auspicious, because even if there was some lack, it absolutely helps you to move beyond that. If you've got a decreasing moon, it's a bit less auspicious because it means that you dwell a lot on that early environment in some way, and you just can't release yourself from it. Okay, let's now focus on the areas of your life and how they are impacted by having Cancer rising. Now, your second house of family and wealth is ruled by Leo and the Sun. Wherever Leo rules in our charts, it lights up that area. It has an intense spotlight on it. It becomes very important to us and almost dominates our life. So the second house issues dominate your life. What are they? Family and wealth. So family first. I've just talked about how important family is to you. Family is important also because it gives you a sense of status in a way. You are quite concerned with how your family looks as a whole. You really want your family to look good, if you know what I mean, in the public view. Particularly the Sun is the father's line. And very often the father's side of the family has a very strong influence on you in regard to your values. That's very important. And sometimes wealth also comes from that father's side of your family. Now, wealth is extremely important to you, but you are not, you are not materialistic in the most basic sense, okay? Because you're not an earth sign, you're water sign. So having wealth gives you a feeling of security, a feeling of safety. That's the main thing. Therefore, you save. You like to save. You hold on to your wealth very well because Leo is a fixed sign. And if your Sun is well aspected and strongly placed, you can accumulate enormous wealth. But if it is in any way afflicted, then it's more difficult for you. But it's still important to you. It's like emotionally and psychically important to you to have a store of savings and wealth. Now, siblings and travel, your third house, is an interesting but somewhat troubling area for you. Even though we've been just discussing how important your family is to you, in general, that's the wider family, and your early upbringing so important, okay, mother, father influence very strong. Siblings are a bit tricky for Cancer rising. Why? Well, that's because Mercury is the ruler here from Virgo, but also the 12th house ruler also. 12th houses of foreign lands. Very often, Cancer rising have a sibling who is actually living abroad, and you often travel to visit them a lot. I've seen this very, very many times. Now, here's the other aspect to sibling and travel. Okay, because Mercury is here, you love to travel. Cancerians love to travel, but also like to put down roots. It sort of seems like a sort of contrary thing here. But there is always a bit of loss connected with travel, okay? And often you find that you don't, you want to travel, but you don't enjoy it as much as when you get there. You don't enjoy the actual traveling as much as you enjoy getting to your destination, okay? And sibling wise, there can also be a bit of loss here sometimes, okay? You need to check how strong Mercury is in your chart. Very often there is a loss around a sibling or one sibling, okay? That's because of the 12th house. There may be separation, there may be a sense of being disconnected in some way with at least one sibling. Now, home area is ruled by Libra, and this is one of the most tricky areas to get right for a reading for Cancer rising. On the surface of it, it looks very straightforward. You like a beautiful home, Libra. You like to be in a home which is very comfortable and very artistic even. And you spend a lot of money, okay, because Venus always indicates material, resources on your home. And you like a bigger home, a better home. You're always looking to improve. But here's the thing, you are seldom satisfied with your home life. That's because Venus is not a good match with your moon. Venus and the moon are tricky together. It's a strange thing in a way. The moon is normally neutral, but the moon and Venus don't always gel well. Venus is very much about self and gaining pleasure for the self, whereas the moon is about caring and giving. And so in some way, home life can become vaguely tricky for you. Yeah? That's because you're always dissatisfied with it and there's always something extra which you want to do. Very much it's about, sometimes for Cancer rising, it's about having the ideal home. That's a Venetian side of it. You want everything perfect and beautiful. Maybe not perfect, but certainly beautiful and easy. And you never seem to quite get that. And then when you just sort of let go and let the moon rule you and just have a nice comfy home, it's never big enough. It's never right. So there is often this real sense of dissatisfaction with your home for many. And here's the next thing. You love a sociable home as well. You like a home in which people are there. You don't like to live alone. Very seldom do you enjoy to live alone. That's because Venus absolutely needs company. And here's the other side of it, okay? Because Venus rules relationships for everybody in general. You need to live with a person who connects deeply with you on a heartfelt level. It's very important. You are easily disturbed if there is any disturbance or disharmony in your home. Home is your absolute center. It's so important to a Cancerian. And if there is any relationship friction in your home, it disturbs you far more than other people. So it's very important that you get the right partner and are able to build a good home life, okay? Because any disturbance in the home, more than anywhere else, is very hard for you. Now, your fifth house is ruled by Scorpio and Mars. It's a very strong area in your chart. It indicates your children and your education and also your creativity primarily. It also has to do with past karma, good karma coming into your life. And this karma is often related to an attitude of protection because Mars rules aggressive action. Scorpio is a very aggressive sign, but passively so. So let's take education first. Education is very important to you. You put a great deal of store on your education, but you are very aggressive towards it. It has a deep emotional meaning to you. And you study very, very well. Sometimes you don't want to show people how hard you are studying, but you study in a very martial way. You apply yourself to your study, almost like you're going to a war zone. You take it in a very systematic battle-like format that you have to overcome all the obstacles and gain those grades. If you've got a strong Mars, it's very fortunate for your education, for going very far and being very successful in it. If you've got Mars in Scorpio, that's especially good because Mars in his own sign in the fifth house here, fortunate for your ruling planet, is very successful for you. Children wise, now Mars often indicates male children, but again you have to see where Mars is by sign and house and see the D5 chart also. But in regard to children, you love young people. You get a sense of energy because Mars is energy and vitality from being with young people. You are a very good teacher, a very good carer, a very good parent, but you're often a little bit strict maybe because Mars can be very strong around do's and don'ts and so on, but in a very caring and a very protective way. You put a lot of energy into helping those who are needy, as I say, and particularly children. So it's a fortunate area of your life without doubt. And one final very important point here is that Mars also rules your 10th house, and so very often you end up working in some sort of education field or with children or young people or vulnerable people in some area in which you can put so much energy into helping and giving guidance to others, and you are often extremely happy and successful in this. So, health issues and enemies. First of all, health issues. Sagittarius can be a good and fortunate thing for you here, but the areas are the thighs and the hips often become vulnerable, and your stomach, because Cancer is ruling the digestive system. Very often you get all sorts of upsets around stomach issues like indigestion, heartburn, and so on, all because you get so sensitive emotionally. So they are some areas to be concerned with. Check how strong your Jupiter is by sign and house, though. Enemies and conflict. Now, this is quite an interesting area here. Jupiter also rules your ninth house of fortune and past karmas. So if you do have any enemies, they're often coming, well, you could say most people's enemies are coming from past life, but for you, there's a particular karma with people who you have disharmony with. It causes you so much distress. You dislike enmity because actually some people thrive on it. Some signs love competition, absolutely love competition. You do not like competition that much. It is absolutely bad for your health as well, and can cause you, as I've said, indigestion, heartburn, all sorts of problems. You like to really make enemies into friends, and you often do. That's the good news, that you often convert enemies into friends. And that's also because you have a very philosophical, almost religious outlook, and this comes into play here. So in your career, Mars from Aries in the 10th house has predominance here. It's often one of the most successful areas of your life. I've just discussed how your 5th house Mars can lead you into caring areas like social work and teaching and so on, and that's very true. But funnily enough, Cancerians often end up in the armed forces. This is also something very common. Why? Because Mars is that fighting warrior, and you are very patriotic, so it goes together and you get that family atmosphere. One of the things which you crave, if you like, in your career is a sense of continuity, a sense of family atmosphere, a sense of teamwork. You work well in a team. You're a very good leader. You're very, very good at leading a team. So you often go into some sort of middle management minimum, if not go right up that ladder, okay? One of the negative things about Aries and Mars, though, in your 10th house is conflict. If your Mars is strong by house and sign, it's fine. You can make it work for you. But if your Mars is afflicted, particularly by Saturn, maybe, Mercury, you can have so many difficulties with co-workers and your boss, and it just seems like never-ending conflict. And so in that case, sometimes Cancerians go into self-employment, and you are absolutely well suited to self-employment. You thrive in that because you are very organized, very forward-thinking. Saturn on your 7th house has an aspect too, okay, because Capricorn is there. So you're very organized, very methodical, and therefore you do very well working for yourself. And you often end up as part of a larger team, employing other people too. So self-employment is definitely favored for you. So relationships are ruled by Saturn from Capricorn. Now, Saturn actually does well on this side of the chart, on the western side of the chart, because Saturn's exaltation place is here. Even though Saturn mightn't be in this house, Saturn is a good sign for your 7th house. People will tell you it's not, but it is actually, because Saturn's about doing your duty. Saturn's about long-lasting, strong bonds. So you can have, if you've got a very well-placed Saturn, strong by house, strong by aspect, particularly if it's not aspecting your moon in any way, that's important, and in your D9 chart very strong, then you can have a good long-lasting relationship. But even if you do have a moon Saturn, don't despair, because you find the right partner in time. There is always delay. Saturn is that delaying factor no matter what house or where he is placed. So he always delays for a very karmic purpose, but he never denies. But the moon and Saturn are not friendly to each other. So your ruler, your sensitivity, your vulnerability is ill matched with this rather hard, dutiful, traditional seventh house situation. So what tends to happen is that you have a big delay finding the right partner, but it's often due to you pulling up that drawbridge. But if you have a particular letdown in early life, and most of us do, don't we, romantically, normally, then you immediately you become vulnerable and you find it hard to trust. And that's a problem. That brings Saturn into play big time. And there's always a barrier between you and your potential partner, which you have to try to melt, if you like, which happens with time and experience. That can happen. So yes, you are vulnerable to hurt, but here's the other thing. What you often do is you choose people who are older than you. I've seen this a lot. Cancer rising always gives attraction to elder or older partners. Doesn't matter male or female. You're very attracted to people who are more mature than yourself, established. It gives you a sense of security. You see, in a relationship, you are looking for, number one, security. That's your number one goal. Everything else is secondary. And so a person who is older than yourself gives you that immediately, and that's a feel-good factor for you. So this delaying factor, though, can be frustrating for you, and you really have to check your D9, maybe D7, and have a look at where Saturn is and how strong, and also check when you have Saturn Mahadasha or Saturn Antradasha periods. Any planets in your seventh house will alter things also. If you got Mars here, Rahu here, well, it's going to be so different. You know, you're going to have a completely materialistic, go-getting attitude towards a partner. You're going to be looking for the most, you know, even the richest partner, the most well-off partner, the most higher established in their career partner. You'll be very materialistically motivated because Capricorn is materialistically motivated. But if you don't have that, particularly if you've got an empty seventh house, and by the way, a tip is that the seventh house is always better empty in the Vedic system, then just have a check where Saturn is, okay? But you are a very good long-term bet. So you're not always materialistic. You're just looking for someone stable. You want security, number one. As I say, security is your number one goal. So you want a home, a family, a safe routine, and a partner who is predictable in a way that makes you feel safe. So if you get involved with somebody hyperactive, unpredictable, you don't know what they're thinking or feeling, it's so difficult for you. You've got to get to know people slowly reveal your vulnerability and find trust. That's the key for you. So long term, you are a very good bet because you are very dutiful and you don't like to end relationships. You find it painful, very painful to have to end any relationship because you like to try to put every effort, every last breath into making it work. So just make sure that you've got a well-matched partner. That's the key thing for you. So just a quick point, everybody, before we move on to look at your ruler through the houses. What is the secret of why the Ascendant ruler is so important? This is the answer. The Ascendant Lord is like a guide, a planet sent to guide you through this incarnation. But what they hold are the karmas that were unfinished, a particular portion of deeds that you have to perform in this life. Completely different to Ketu, different to Atmakaraka. This is a particular deeds which you have to do. What are those deeds? Where do you have to perform them? That is shown by the house placement of your Ascendant Lord. And in the Mahadasha periods and the Antradasha periods, also, you get the opportunity to perform those particular karmas when you are in that Ascendant Lord Mahadasha or a friendly planet to that Lord. Have a check on my video on Mahadashas and Ascendant Lord. Okay, so let's now go through all the houses where your ruling planet might be placed. So when the moon as your ruling planet is rising in Cancer in the first house, it's an incredibly fortunate placement, really. It gives you a great deal of love in your life, okay, and a great deal of often material success as well. You attract people to you. The only issue is that you're very changeable emotions. Your moods are like up and down all the time. People sometimes get to know you and then feel they actually don't know you because they've got to know you on a bad day. So you're up and down with your emotions because the moon is your moods, okay? And your mind, you're always changing your mind about things and finding new interests and looking at things in a different way. So it's a very changeable, flickering aspect in your life, but a very active thing. You often travel a lot of travel, okay, with the moon in your first house. Your mother becomes absolutely central in your life. I've talked about a little bit, I didn't really get into it, but the mother is a very important factor for Cancer rising, and for you the mother figure becomes central, or you become a very big mother figure in your family. You know, you can be like this big mama figure. Even if you're male, you have this nurturing aspect to you. So that mother is very big for you, and you become a very mothering person in your whole life environment, okay? And you're very possessive as well. Very often the moon in Cancer makes you grasp onto people and things. Often very good with your resources too. Often very good at finding a very cozy and happy home life. So it's mostly, if it's not got bad aspects, it's a very favorable placement. So in terms of outstanding karmas here, it's very important that you are giving to others in a very unconditional way. That's the outstanding karma here. You can become inwardly driven and even negative emotionally, especially if your moon is badly aspected. This can make you depressed and withdrawn. You have to avoid this and try to give as much as you can unconditionally. You will find that you become enormously happy with that, and your whole relationship situation improves. So when your moon has gone into the second house as your ruling planet, this is very important for your family. It's obviously, this is going to mean that the family environment, your early childhood, is going to dominate your whole future in some way. You have outstanding karma, strong outstanding karma with this family. Probably you've taken birth in the same family again, particularly because it's in Leo, it's the father's line. In some way you carry on from that father, and that may be to do with your working life or your family life or your home. Something is carrying on from your father that it is your destiny to complete, and this is very much outstanding karma from past life. Another thing is, of course, that this is your wealth house, and therefore it's fluctuating because the moon will fluctuate anyhow. So up and down, but it's so important to you to have savings as you get older. If you've got a strongly aspected moon here with really good aspects, you know, let's say Jupiter is aspecting the moon in any way, it will increase in a most tremendous way, but still fluctuating like the waves of the ocean, up and down. Okay, so it's a favorable moon for family connections. Sometimes if your moon is badly aspected, the family seems to drain you. You feel the draining aspect of the family. You know you have karmas here you have to fulfill, but you feel drained by your family members. Again, that's all to do with outstanding karmas that somehow you need to feel the absolute strength to fulfill. So your ruling planet from Cancer has gone into the third house, into a Virgo. This is quite interesting because it emphasizes that third house section I was just talking about, those Virgonian problems with your siblings. There will be issues with siblings. really strong connections with them, that if the moon is well aspected will be fairly okay but still unstable. But a badly aspected moon gives separation from siblings and a real emotional downer sometimes dealing with siblings for you. It causes you some difficulty and maybe some heartache, but that's a past karma. That's the unfinished business. You are coming into this life with unfinished business with family, but particularly siblings, maybe cousins sometimes in this third house, but mostly younger siblings specifically. So this is karma which you have to fulfill, even if it is troublesome to you. And it may be disturbing to your mind because the fourth house is your mind, third house is a loss of your peace of mind and home life. So some disturbances in your early home life with your siblings will probably be there that may become long-term problems for you as you get older. But this is your karma to deal with this, to have a sort of mothering influence on your siblings sometime. As I say, whether you're male or female, you have to have that nurturing input into your siblings, but it can be contentious. It can be draining for you depending on the aspect of the moon. On the positive side, this moon gives you the ability to multitask. You are able to do multitude of things at the same time. Your mind is a bit flickering, a bit on the move all the time, but it's very good for any self-employment, any business, okay? Because you're able to communicate so well with so many people and have so much empathy with them, but be very analytical, okay? Because your moon is in Virgo, so you're very analytical, very practical, very good for business. Right, so when the ruler of Cancer, the moon, is going into the fourth house, we have to be very careful to check if it's a full moon, increasing moon or decreasing moon. It's got different interpretations. First of all, if it's an increasing moon, going from new moon to full moon, that's favorable for your domestic life. It's favorable for your property, for home ownership, and for landed interest and vehicles and all of the good stuff of the fourth house. It's favorable for you having a comfortable and expansive home life, but you may move a lot. It can show a lot of movement and change in this area. If it's a full moon with the sun in the 10th, it's very powerful because the sun is strongly placed in Aries and in the 10th house, very strong, and the moon in Libra is well placed in the fourth house. This can affect your career. Yes, this can actually mean that your career is often connected to your home in some way, or that you work from home for some part of your career. It's very good for anything about property, landed interests, and even sometimes working in a government department to do with the homeland, in some way to do with the country itself, in some sort of government job. But you know, you have to look at all the aspects involved and in your D10 to get an exact understanding. But on the whole though, this is a very, very favorable position for your career if it's a full moon. Now, if it's a decreasing moon, we get some issues because the moon is losing light and it's in the fourth house. The moon is good in this house generally because it gives a very much a domesticated nature and a care for your home. But if it's losing in light, there can be some issues early in life. There can be issues with the mother with this position. There can be issues with home situations and, you know, domestic landed interests that may not go as favorable for you as you would have liked. But again, if it's a well aspected moon, e.g. Jupiter is maybe aspecting in any way, that can overcome all of these impediments. On the whole though, this moon gives you a karma of really family concerns being a top priority, especially after marriage, because Libra is a sign of partnership. So finding a partner with whom you have harmony is absolutely crucial to you, because any disharmony in your home affects your whole emotional nature and your mind, okay, because the moon is your mind, becomes very disturbed if there is any sort of inharmony in your home. So you absolutely like a sociable home life, a big family atmosphere, and your mother finally will be in some way an absolutely foundational concern and a real, she will be someone who is a real influence on you, for positive or for negative, mostly for positive here, okay, because the moon is strong in the fourth house, and she will give you a foundation for all of your values in this life. And the karmas here are very much about maintaining harmony in your domestic situation. And this aspect actually also increases the likelihood of a harmonious bond with your partner, your life partner, because Libra is about partnerships, okay? So wherever we have any grahas in Libra, it influences your relationship. So you either become a most nurturing person towards your spouse, or you attract a spouse who is nurturing towards you. It can be very positive for your spousal relationship, okay? And you may meet them in a work situation, okay? Because the moon aspects the 10th house. So in a work environment, you may meet spouse. Also, you are very much attracted to raising the status of your life through home and property. You may go to a bigger house and a bigger house all through your life if you have a well aspected moon, because it increases like that, particularly if your moon is increasing when you were born. If you've got a moon that is absolutely has light and is not decreasing, it is more favorable. But either way, you are still nurturing and caring, and it has a special impact on your spousal relationship, which becomes part of your outstanding karmas, that nurturing of that spousal situation and your family, nurturing other people and bringing people into your home. Okay, so your home becomes the absolute oasis of this nurturing karma. So now the moon has gone as your ruling planet into your 5th house in Scorpio. This is tremendously intense position for Cancer rising. It's definitely karmic, because Scorpio is a karmic sign. So as I say, your ruling planet is karmic in terms of outstanding karmas. The moon in Scorpio is a debilitated moon. That doesn't mean it's going to be negative for you, particularly if it's got good grahas aspecting, and check your D9 chart also. This moon gives intense issues with children. There will be past life connections with your children that are your outstanding karmas. You are a very possessive, almost smothering mother or father in some ways, but it can be positive that you are a fighter for your children and they appreciate it. So with children particularly, often female children, but that can vary. There can be a large family also, but there is some connection with a child that can be disturbing at some point. It's karmic in nature. If your moon is well aspected, it can work out slowly over time. It doesn't disturb you. You are very, very much, though, a very creative person with your children as well. You like to play with your kids. You like to engage with your kids. You're a bit of a kid yourself. I mean, I'd hope that didn't sound negative. But the moon is the child inside of us as well, because it's our early childhood. And the 5th house is the playtime house. So you love to play with your kids. You love to engage with your kids. You love to be with young people. You're a very good teacher. You're a very good nurturer. But with education itself, there can be problems. with education, there can be a big break in your education due to maybe emotional issues or relationship issues sometimes. Education is fluctuating up and down for you. Sometimes you feel okay on a course and then it doesn't work out and you just want to leave the course. It's hard to find steadiness there. Although Scorpio is a fixed sign, it's very intense. And so you're very much focused on what you want to do, but you change quickly because the moon is changeable. So higher education may have some issues for you, okay? But it's a very intense position of the moon. It really gives you a karma of intensity. Relationships that are not marriage-based, like love affairs, can be numerous. Really, this moon can give like so many short-term affairs sometimes, okay? Particularly if the moon has an aspect to Venus or to Jupiter, sometimes to Mercury. You find it hard to find that steadiness when you are attracted to somebody. And you also have to be very careful that you are associating with the right type of person, because the moon aspects your 11th house of larger groups of people. So you can change friendships very, very quickly. You can go through intense, almost, completely focused, really best friends situations to just nobody there. This can happen again and again because of this intensity of this moon's aspect on your larger group situation. So definite karma with friendship groups, definite karma with children, and a very creative situation also for this moon. But sometimes that sort of creativity is far better in isolation. Okay, because that Mars is a scorpionic Mars, which isn't good for the moon. Okay, the moon can't quite cope with that intensity, so you tend to go into periods of isolation that can be, though, very purposeful for your creativity. So moon as your ruling planet has gone into your 6th house in Sagittarius. This is a complicated position. Let me break it down a bit. First of all, it gives conflict with the mother. First and foremost, there is some conflict with the mother, which is karmic because it's your ruling planet, it's your karmic planet, bringing in, as I say, those situations that you have to deal with. So you have to be very kind, very caring, and very philosophical because the moon is in Sagittarius. The favorable thing here is that this is a well-placed moon for philosophy, religion. So even although there may be conflict with the mother, it may be over religion, by the way, it may be over belief systems, but either way, there is conflict and it can emotionally drain you. But if it's a well-aspected moon, you can overcome the conflicts, and over time you grow quite close to your mother. So it's really coming from past life. So be patient and be careful. As we all know, our mother is our most important karmic link, even if you've not got the moon in your 6th house, and we should always be respectful. So there may be some difficulty there depending on those aspects. Here's the next level, health. You become very easily stressed, very easily made on edge, particularly through conflicts. This is a moon that attracts people in conflict with you, particularly in the workplace. The workplace, your boss or your co-workers cause you distress. So you have to be very self-contained in this area. Have a check of your D10 to see where the moon is there to get to the root of this workplace conflict. Another area is your health because, as I say, you become very easily stressed and very hyper, and you have to be very, very careful to calm yourself down. Meditation, retreat, foreign travel are good for you because it's in Sagittarius, foreign travel, and it's aspecting the 12th house of foreign land. So very often you gain relief and great feeling of happiness when you travel abroad. Okay, it's not about escapism, it's about going into yourself and finding inner self-confidence. So this moon can knock your confidence. You've got to be very strong to deal with this moon. And if you've got very strong aspects like from Jupiter, or sometimes even sort of Mars aspect here, it can help you. It can really sort of buoy you up. But the main thing here is this is a moon in Sagittarius, and this is a good graha for your ruling sign Cancer. So you can overcome the conflicts, you can overcome the mother issues with philosophy, kindness, and religion. So you have to be very strong in your philosophy and very strong in your religious beliefs, and absolutely you will overcome these these issues. And again, as I say, that is also very so for your health issues, which, as I say, are more than often linked to stress. Don't forget to watch the areas of your body which are linked here. So the moon is your digestive system, and Sagittarius is hip area and thigh area, which may be vulnerable also. So outstanding karmas when your ruler is the moon is in the 7th house in Capricorn. This is a very deep position. I could make a whole video on this, but I've got to keep it short and sweet, yeah? Your karma is most definitely in your partnerships and in your relationships, but it's not going to be easy because a moon in Capricorn is not that happy a moon in Saturn's sign. But it is very good for one side of your life. Let me just make that very clear. It's very good for business. It's very good for running a business, for being a business person, because it really makes you good at dealing with the public. You understand people's needs and you are able to cater to their needs. And this may involve your mother. Very often your mother has a very close eye on your relationships and on your working life, and is a very good source of advice. She's a very practical person. Your mother is a very down-to-earth practical person. She deals with the material energy well, and she gives you a good start in life. And you look to her as a sort of a guide, not a guru, but like a guide. And she often is very helpful to you, maybe financially helpful to you also, as it's an earth sign, Capricorn. But relationships now. Relationships, you definitely want a stable relationship, but the moon is fluctuating in this house. Yeah, you're very emotional in your relationships. You're very keen to have harmony and stability because that's what Cancerians always want. But this fear, as I've been talking about on this video, of letting your heart open, of being really vulnerable, if it's a badly aspected moon, can scar you. And one bad relationship can hold you back from trusting again. So you have to be careful. Very often you travel or find a relationship through travel, as the moon indicates travel. Or you go abroad when you have a really good relationship and start again in a new land. The moon is very, very favorable for you building a very good home life after marriage. You often have a whole new family after marriage, which everybody does, but for you it's really big. It's really like emotionally involved, and you become very much emotionally entwined in your spouse's family. One thing about relationships, though, with this moon, it's very, very important, is you need to find somebody who's totally in harmony with your moon. It's so important because the moon is your mind, and a moon in Capricorn can make your mind come down and become a bit depressed. Relationships can sometimes make you depressed if they're not harmonious. You've got very high, that's a Capricorn element, expectations and ambitions from a relationship, and you can feel down at times if it's not realistically working out. I would advise you to look for people especially who are in harmony with your moon. So people who've got a moon in Virgo, or people who've got a moon in Taurus, are very harmonious for you, and you have good karmas with them and can help to settle you. But don't take that as a definite, I can't marry anyone who hasn't got the moon in Virgo or Taurus. That's not the case. Have a check in your D9 for how strong your moon is there, and the sign of your moon there also. But most importantly, you need to, as I say, become more optimistic in your relationships, because you become up and down, very moody, and you follow other people. So if they're feeling good, you feel good. If they're feeling bad, you feel bad. And so you need to find some inner stability here, particularly in relationships. Now, the moon as your ruler gone into your 8th house is a very intense karmic position here. You are going to have to deal with some big family issues and, relationship issues, but which will give you a great understanding and empathy. The moon in Aquarius is quite a detached moon, actually. Even though you're a very emotional person, Cancer rising, as I say, with such sensitivity and such devotion at your heart, the moon in Aquarius detaches you from that. How does that happen? Because of your family of upbringing. Something happened early on in life which has impacted you greatly and has made you put down a wall. There's a wall between you and other people. And this wall is something which is karmic in nature, coming from past life situation. So this intensity of family karma is sometimes a burden to you, but actually gives you enormous spiritual growth. This is a lifetime of spiritual growth, which is linked to sometimes emotional trauma. But you are a healer. The moon in Aquarius means the ability to give out and to nurture large groups of people rather than smaller one-to-one situation, large groups of people. You are able to be someone who gives out from your experience and understanding knowledge to other people, because this is the house of research and knowledge. You're a very good scientist, actually, a very good researcher. You're very much into the secret occult knowledge, obviously astrology, because here you are, but you gain emotional assurance from these subjects. Okay, so the more you research, the more you explore occult and hidden secret knowledge, the greater wisdom and absolutely it serves your heart. It makes you feel safe. You gain safety from this. But there will be family issues. There will be some element of disturbance in your early family environment which you have to overcome, but you gain a great deal of inner strength. You become a very strong person, capable of giving nurturance to other people. Okay, and in your spousal relationships, there can be financial issues. Okay, because the moon here is in the house of spousal finance. So what you often find is that there are a great deal of fluctuation in your financial status after marriage. And this can all depend on the aspects. If it is a well aspected, increasing moon, then you increase financially from your partnership. But if it is in any way afflicted or a decreasing moon, there can be issues with a spouse, and financially it can be very much up and down after marriage. But please don't take that as a final thing. Have a look in your D9 chart and in your D2 chart, actually, also for your holding of wealth. Now, your moon ruling planet has gone into Pisces, the most beautiful sign for the moon sometimes. And from Cancer, it's a beautiful, beautiful placement. It gives you the most tremendously intense interest in religion, philosophy, but in a occurring way, not in an abstract, detached, scientific way, in a occurring way. So you want to take your knowledge of religion, everything which you get from a teacher, a guru, and take it into your heart and give it out again. So you make a very good teacher. You are very much having karma to do with education and travel. So there was some unfinished karma in higher education in your past life. There was also unfinished karma with foreign lands, which may take you to those very same foreign lands, okay? Or you may find that where you are now was a foreign land to your past life. It can get involved, okay? You should also have a check of your D4 chart, because funnily enough, a D4 chart is our homeland now. So how that relates, how your moon is there, will give you other clues as well. Moon in the 9th house, though, gives a very philosophical nature. You are very thoughtful about everything in your life. You want to find out more about karma, reincarnation, everything. You are never satisfied. You are digging and digging and digging to find out truth. But Moon is very compassionate in Pisces. You're a very giving, caring person, far beyond what a Cancerian would be normally. And your father relationship is very special too. And again, there can be outstanding karma with your father. Now, when you've got the moon here in the sign of your father, this can mean a father from a foreign land or a father who travels a lot. And you may travel with your father also sometimes, okay? Or a father who becomes motherly to you and becomes more like a mother than a father. All of these things are shown here. But what is your most important outstanding karma? As I say, it's in education. It's in finding out truths, in taking them into your heart and making them work for you, and giving that nurturant, that nurturing of your knowledge, nurturing other people by your deep knowledge. So the moon as a ruler of your chart from Cancer has gone to your 10th house. Two important aspects here. First of all, the moon aspects your 4th house, and in some way this can go two ways, okay? You may have a very public career, one in which you are very much on show, like an actor, like a politician, like media, or just you may be into the medical sphere, because Mars is always about medicine, but you're very much on show. You become very well known in your sphere. That's very often shown. Or you work from home as well, very often because of the moon's aspect on your 4th house. Your career takes you into either the homes of other people, so you may be like a doctor visiting, that's that sort of career, or you actually work from home and have an impact on the public from there. They go together. What's your outstanding karma? Now, the moon is about absolutely fulfilling your duties here in your career. It means giving 100%, okay? Because Mars, as I've been discussing on this video, Mars gives you tremendous ability for action and moving upwards in your career, but you have conflict, and the moon in Aries shows that conflict is coming up again. Even though you do well in your career, but very often, except where you've got very badly aspected or very low light moon, that can influence your success a little bit, but check in the D10, it may be far better there. This can mean that you have conflict with people in your career that disturbs you emotionally, because the moon is in Aries, and Aries is about conflict. So you may have some little mini wars, if you like, mini conflicts in your career path. But if it is a strong and increasing moon, then you sometimes enjoy it, and it works for your benefit. So you're going to have a big impact on some larger sphere in your career. You must absolutely find a career that maybe allows you to work from home as well, by the way, but that absolutely puts you in the public sphere as much as possible. Now, the moon, as a ruler of Cancer, has gone to the very auspiciously placed Taurus in your 11th house. This is a very auspicious placement. The moon is nurtured here, safe, secure, and in the house of increase of income. This will most definitely give you assets. Even if you start from a very low position in life, you are able to absolutely increase and to have huge increase in wealth and wages, if you like, from your career. You also are very happy in your friendship circles. You gain, maybe not a huge wide circle, but very steady friends who are helpful to you. Yes, I know the moon is changeable, fluctuating, but the moon in your 11th house, in a fixed house, it's an Aquarius house, if you like, a fixed sign house, in a fixed sign like Taurus, gives you friends that stay with you and nurture you. You, however, are the most tremendously good friend. You are so nurturing to your friends. Outstanding karmas will probably be with your friendship circle more than anything else, okay? Yes, you may have some outstanding karmas of gaining wealth, and that's very favorable, but you have to check those moon aspects. But your most important outstanding karmas are in your friendship network circles, particularly sometimes with females, but again, that can be changeable here. The moon is about you as bringing people together, as being someone who is inclusive and caring and nurturing in those circles. And those people will absolutely be people with which you have outstanding karmas. The other side of this house is politics. This is a house of influencing people on the larger sphere, exactly like the 10th house. But in the moon here, it's again more about idealism, because this is a very idealistic house, okay? So you often like to go into some sort of political situation with a very nurturing and caring idea of how you are going to help people, okay? But most of all, as I say, it's about increasing your social networks. All of your life, you're a very active person socially. You're not someone for sitting at home, it's not, you must be out there socializing, interacting. And as I say, those outstanding karmas with your friendship network are very important. Now, your moon as your rule has gone into your 12th house in Gemini. This will definitely take you to foreign lands. The outstanding karmas will be related to some form of change of residence, probably very early on in your life. Maybe also connected to your siblings, because that is your 3rd house, Mercury ruled house also. So this has a sort of a crossover with that moon in 3rd house. So, I would suggest that you have a check of what I've said about that moon 3rd house. It applies somewhat to you also. Sibling issues, as I've talked about there, will impact you as well. But more than that, though, you're quite a secretive person. You're someone who likes to keep your mind to yourself. You like time alone. Your outstanding karmas are definitely with foreign lands, siblings, and with finding inner peace in yourself. Past lives have made you unsteady, have not given you a sense of, belonging and steadiness. And in this life, you are turning inwards to find that nurturance, very often through knowledge, because Gemini is a sign of knowledge and communication. So you can also be very talented in all sorts of internet communication, ICT and all that stuff, because that is the 12th house also, and Gemini is about internet and that sort of technology. You can be very talented there, but you do need time alone. You absolutely need to have quiet time when you restructure your stress levels. This moon can make you very stressed. This moon can give you an enormous amount of mental energy, which you just need to calm down. It can give you also digestive and health issues, so watch for that, and also high blood pressure. So you have to watch for all those things that come from an overactive mind, and worry also, and stress. Okay, so it's two-sided here. Your main karma, though, is calming these things down and finding inner nurturance. Sometimes this moon in your 12th house doesn't feel mothered properly. Sometimes, again, you've got to check that moon aspects and your maybe D4 chart sometimes, okay? You really have to understand that those karmas are moving away from you now, because this 12th house is about coming to terms with past life karma anyway. And so if you do feel a bit isolated, a bit lonely sometimes, as though life isn't coming together for you, know that this will pass as you mature. It's probably stronger when you are younger. Have a check where Mercury has gone. Mercury will show you where you find relief from these sort of karmas of isolation. Okay, so foreign lands, very good for you. Internet, all sorts of ICT jobs, communication, very, very good. Sibling issues, probably. Foreign travel, crucial to finding your true place in life. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sub to my channel if you are new here. And coming up next, of course, in this series will be Leo rising. Okay, goodbye for now, and God bless everybody.